I think I got some of the dildo box, but I'm not sure.
More on that later.
So yeah, we're discussing dildo boxes, and okay, we're back with Stephen King series now. We talked about how people hated Eyes of the Dragon, and Stephen King, was like, "What the fuck, man? You love me, now you hate me," and he kind of had a little crisis there. And I took my damn book, man. But anyway, his response to that was that it influenced one of his greatest novels. And I think anyway, and a lot of people I think would agree with me, and that spawned one of the greatest adaptations of one of his novels, and we're talking Misery, which tells a story of an obsessive fan that is unwilling to let the author move on, man. Fuck this shit. Did you kill my favorite character? Oh, I'm gonna make you bring him back, and basically
something like that happening nowadays with those DC.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, man, that was his response to the backlash to Eyes of the Dragon, and how people were so adamant to keep him in the horror box. And so inadvertently, or possibly because of fate, he wrote one of his best novels, and then it was adapted into... Fuck it, who directed Misery? I forget, man.
Oh, Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, that's right. Who directed Stand By Me, yes.
Yeah.
One of the best... adaptations, I think.
And adapted by William Goldman.
Yes.
Yeah, who wrote Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and All the President's Men and The Princess Bride, like one of the best screenwriters.
It was like destined to be great, and for that very reason alone, it could have been horrible, but it was great. Kathy Bates was fantastic. She deservedly won an Oscar award, and it was nominated for 4, I think, Oscar awards. And I mean, what else to say? Yeah,
it's ankle-breakingly good.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck. Oh, before we get to Spielbergo's opinion on this,
go for it.
It was also adapted into a stage play, which ran for a few months with Bruce Willis as Sheldon and Laurie Metcalf, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
As Annie Wilkes.
Like, when was this?
It was a few years ago, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, fairly
so
recent.
Bruce
Yeah.
Willis.
Oh yeah, recent.
And it was
RB.
met with positive reviews as well.
Oh, I see.
I don't know if it toured or not, but I know it did a run in wherever the hell it ran, New York somewhere. But anyway.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's my 3rd favorite King novel. Yeah, it's one of the first Stephen King movies I ever saw. It's a brilliant, like, Hitchcockian adaptation of the novel, which it's like a Hitchcockian story, but it's super. That's who Rob Reiner studied, because he was just director of, like, When Harry Met Sally and This Is Spinal Tap and stuff. He'd never directed anything like that before, so he's like, I'm gonna watch Hitchcock movies and do that to this story. I always wanted to see, when I was a kid, the translated more closely, the original scene, the hobbling scene in the book is far more gruesome. She chops his foot off with an axe and burns the stump with a blowtorch, which was going to be in the movie. That's how the screenwriter William Goldman says that's why he took the job. He wanted to, because he was famous for torture scenes. He wrote the movie Marathon Man with a "This Is Safe" dentist scene and stuff like that. So in addition to other whimsical stories, he was famous for, like, cool torture scenes. So he's like, I'm gonna add another cool torture scene to my
I want to be famous for cool torture scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. But they thought, no, you'll hate her character completely if she cuts his foot off. So they came up with the sledgehammer
bashing. So let's
bashing.
just do this.
Yeah, which is, it's pretty bad. But not as bad. You still have your feet. They'll heal.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a more visceral approach. Yeah, man, I'm fine with the way it was done. I mean, I'm not saying
it's
that you're not fine.
cringe-inducing when I was a kid.
It is, yeah.
Freaked me the fuck out.
I think it fucks with people to the day. But yeah, it would have been very interesting to see that particular scene carried out to its full promise. You saw Misery, right?
Yeah.
And did you cringe, sir? Or did you think it was great?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. We saw it with Mom.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or Squid Mom.
That's
nice.
And,
that's the way to see horror
She liked
movies.
it, though.
Yeah.
She
She
really
loves
liked
Stephen
it,
King,
yeah.
though, right?
Yes. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, man, Misery, check it out. It's great. Read the book.
I don't know if the foot chopping, though, because
Yeah, you think so?
I don't think it would have, for me at least, been fit the movie.
It's quite a scene.
Unless
to
they
read.
filmed it like in a
But
way.
you know what? You're right, because they softened her character. Because in the book, she's way more like she's way more extreme. And,
Yeah, I don't think it would have.
Yeah, so that's what it falls in line with what they did to the movie.
Yeah.
So it would have probably fucked things up. Honestly,
It would have. I think like the way the movie is, it might have seemed like unnecessary gore.
Yeah,
But I don't
absolutely,
know.
absolutely. I don't think Rob Reiner could have done it well, honestly. Like either.
It would have been interesting. Though.
Yeah,
I don't know where the hell my books went, but
That's great. That's great in a video centered around books.
go ahead and discuss a little while I try to find the damn book.
Yeah,
So-
man, find those smart ass books.
So you like feet? Getting crushed?
Don't I?
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it made me want to do that to someone.
That's not what I expected, but okay.
Come back to that. What the fuck?
To
Did
kids?
this go?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, I couldn't find it, but Tommy Knockers is the next one. And it's worthy to note that Tommy Knockers was the last book he wrote while he was high as fuck.
Oh man.
He had
the
a
end of
coke
an era.
problem and an alcohol problem. And a lot of people, oddly enough, consider the golden age of Stephen King to be when he was fucking high and or on drinking the alky. And you could kind of say that, look at all the books we've discussed up to this point in the videos. It's kind of the golden age of King. Not to say that his talent has decreased, but those are fucking classics
What
that
you're
everybody
saying here
knows.
is that you want him to go back to the drugs.
Well, he kind of did, but that gave us an abortion, which we'll discuss later. But
It's a good teaser.
so that was the end to the era came with the Tommy Knockers, which a lot of people detest, and I am not one of those people. I actually love the Tommy Knockers.
The book.
I think, let me clarify that. The fucking book.
So I had to do
I
it for
think
him.
it is.
no good. Yeah,
I
right.
think it's so fucking weird, man. It's one of his weirdest fucking books.
Yeah, you can say
It
that,
deals
yeah.
with aliens, and it's basically like Stephen King if he had written H.P. Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same concept. A person finds something that clearly is alien. It's a disc in the fucking forest. And she becomes slavishly obsessed with it through the, machinations of the beings within, which are, kind of in a stasis of sorts. And she begins to disinter this disc, and soon that obsession spreads to the whole town.
It's
And
very,
literally,
very
this whole town.
Lovecraftians on it.
Yeah, and they become poisoned by the radiation emitting from it, and they're literally falling
It's
apart.
just Lovecraft.
So it's a metaphor for his. A lot of people see that as a metaphor for his the effects of drugs, the drugs were having on him.
Meth he was doing.
Yeah, whether it is or it's not, who knows? But I thought the book was strange in just the right ways. It's kind of like a tightrope he walks when he does an alien story, and I thought this one was. I had a blast with the book. The TV series I thought was an abomination.
The film was great. Yeah,
I thought it was fucking shit. Complete. I won't even get into it. It was fucking terrible. I hate that
it's too
TV
bad.
so what you're
series.
saying is that you love it.
Yeah, get on that TV series. It's fucking stunk. Your opinion, Spielbergo?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the Tommy Knockers novel a lot. I haven't revisited it in a while. I would also, I would equate it too with his version of and this might be obscure to some people or not, but there's a British sci-fi writer named Nigel Neal who created the Quatermass
Quatermass
character.
in the Pit. Yeah,
And I think of it as Stephen King's kind of Quatermass story too. Like it doesn't have an expert or anything that Quatermass is or whatever, but it's also he wrote so many stories about alien visitation, infecting things, and being weird. And yeah, it's great in the miniseries. Yeah. I love Stephen King miniseries, good or bad, usually because it's something neat to throw on. Sometimes you're just in the mood for it, but this one is so bad, it's particularly
terrible,
bad.
man.
And I keep thinking it might get better, but no, it never does. And I never progress past maybe an hour into it if I ever revisit
How
it.
long is it?
It's like 4 hours.
yeah,
isn't
like a
it?
two-parter.
Yeah.
Damn, I always thought it was
two-parter.
like an hour.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was so excited for it when it came out because it was, it was on the heels of It, written by the guy who wrote the miniseries of It and who wrote Carrie. He
Yeah.
wrote all three of those.
Instead of it was shit.
It was shit.
I would say that. I'm sure that was a
crap, dude.
review in the day.
You go back and it says bye. What's my name again? Goontick.
All right, so we can agree that Tommy Knocker stunk on the screen, but was pretty fucking badass on the page. And that brings us next to the dark half, which a lot of people think stinks either way. I don't agree with that fully. I like the dark half. It's basically, you know, an author writes under the what was the name of the character he wrote? Alexis Machine.
Oh yes,
this author,
great name.
Yes, this author has a pseudonym that George Stark that writes these kind of action-driven, pulpy, violent novels based around this character called Alexis Machine.
Sounds like a friend of John Matrix.
Yeah, yeah, no shit, huh? Has about the same kill rate.
Yeah, John Spartan.
Yeah.
But yeah, he writes these novels, but he decides that he wants to write more. Well, he wants to focus on his more literary career, which they don't sell that well. But anyway, he's discovered, much like King was discovered to be Bachman, and he decides to literally, kind of like ceremoniously inter the pseudonym. And lo and behold, something burst out of that figurative grave, and it's George Stark come to life, his pseudonym. But he has taken on a lot of the qualities of Alexis Machine. And later we learn something else about him. I won't ruin it. That kind of gives a pseudo explanation as to why that would really happen. But the point is, the novel is pretty cool, man. And I liked George Romero's adaptation of it too. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I'd say check them both out. I'd prefer the novel over the adaptation, honestly. But I thought they were pretty cool. What'd you think?
Yeah, no, I think so too. I always loved the Dark Half novel. I haven't revisited it in a long time. I don't remember it quite as well. I watch the Dark Half remake all the time. The adaptation all the time. I'm a huge Romero fan. He wrote the adaptation himself. He's one of my favorite screenwriters. He really cared about him and Stephen King are pals. Mm-hmm. He really cared about doing the novel the proper service. It's strange, like the movie, both characters are played in the movie by Timothy Hutton.
Yeah.
He did a great job. I thought it was weird to hear that George Romero who was also in the movie but in a different character, he wanted Michael Rooker to play both.
Really?
He did.
Wow.
Yeah, and the studio did not want that. They didn't think he was they didn't think he could be a sympathetic or intellectual, like can we buy this guy as a writer and a nice writer? I don't know.
I could kind of see that they're thinking
right?
about it. Yeah.
But he's sympathetic in the movie. I think he's a really sympathetic character, and I think it's faithful, and I like it.
Impressions. I know you saw the movie.
I like Michael Rooker. Never seen the movie.
Yep. I showed you the movie. No,
you didn't.
Damn it.
Show him again.
Son of a bitch.
Roll movie. Force his eyeballs open.
Just a last note. There was a controversy around the mid-90s. Dean Koontz wrote a novel called Mr. Murder. Shit. Which was basically this story, only with like a kind of like a more scientific reason as to why the a doppelganger existed. But there was a controversy, and but come on, man, there's a lot of stories that kind of not necessarily crib intentionally, but there's so many ideas.
There's
out
nothing
there.
Original nowadays.
Yeah, true.
And look, you're getting paid for the schlock, you're right, Koontz. I
mean, shots fired.
I will say,
come on.
This was classic era Koontz and Mr. Murder. I personally kind of enjoyed it. I know there was a adaptation of it that stunk ain't I?
Who is Mr. Murder in it?
Mr. Murder is the the guy that murders.
No, the actor.
Yeah. Murder.
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen the screen adaptation. I just read the novel.
Title.
But anyway, there was that little controversy. But I like both of them, but I do prefer my King. And as you've mentioned, yes, Koontz has become a hack as of late.
Well, them's just fighting words.
Yeah.
Sorry, Koontz, but you shouldn't have fucking put the toupee on, and you sure as hell shouldn't have shaved the stash.
Also, that dog. What the hell, man?
Yeah, the dog. Next, we have 4 Past Midnight, which I had somewhere, but apparently I don't have anymore.
Yes.
But anyway,
professionalism.
They take your shit, and then you want to punch them in the nuts, and you can't. But anyway, 4 Past Midnight was another novella collection. It had 4 of the Langoliers, which was adapted into a TV series. Which let's get down to it. Not the greatest acting, definitely not the greatest technically made movie, and the effects stink.
Effects do stink.
But it's also quite loyal to the story. In fact, that is one of the few King stories that have been adapted to screen. You could literally read along with what's going on. So if you're too lazy to read the book, which is awesome, just watch the movie and imagine that the effects are good and people are acting fine. Although you get to see Belky, Bronson Pinchot, as a fucking maniac, which is cool.
I love him in the movie, honestly.
Yeah,
it's his best acting ever, honestly.
Force Past Midnight. somebody
past
It's cool, and I was
That
going to
sounds-
mock you by saying apparently can't speak, couldn't say it.
The book also has Secret Window, Secret Garden, which was adapted into a movie with starring Johnny Depp, which was
A hit film.
not great. Not
Man,
great.
that movie, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It also has to do with basically the themes of the dark half, only not that dark or halfy. But basically, King revisits a lot of themes in different ways, and this is one of those. And
John Turturro in that movie.
it's
Not
not
as good.
It's
I don't think he's good. I think he was super miscast. I'm like,
Well, I haven't seen the movie. I'm just saying John Turturro
Oh,
in
he's
general.
great. No. It's just the character, like, yeah, he's supposed to be scary. I can't find John Turturro scary, so I'm like checked out instantly when
Yeah.
he starts talking.
I didn't. Yeah, the whole movie for me was not great.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just not.
No, it wasn't on the par. Like the director David Koepp had done a great adaptation of Richard Matheson's Stir of Echoes,
Yeah,
and I thought it would be that good,
and it was
wasn't.
definitely not.
Yeah,
They also has the Library Policeman, which unfortunately I have not read.
I haven't either.
And the Sundog, which I have read, and is pretty cool. And there you
dog
go,
that
exploring
goes to
dogs again. And it's actually kind of has like a wicked sense of humor. The book. So
Make a
read
great
that.
short.
The question is,
Yeah.
does a dog get launched into the sun?
It should. It should be catapulted.
It's about a
into the
dog's
sun.
journey to be the first dog astronaut.
Oh, wow.
Launched
Space
to
Buddies. They made
Yeah,
it.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Stephen King.
From Stephen King, Space
he
Buddies.
wrote a children's book recently. We're going to cover that.
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. The next one is Needful Things, which got a movie adaptation too. This is basically about a guy named Leland Gott that kind of ambles into town one day and sets up shop, and he's got stuff that interests people. It's not necessarily stuff that you'd see in a normal shop. He's got some weird shit, but people want it, and that's the key because he'll give it to them. But all he asks for is a favor, and therein, and really a classic King. He uses this horror base to underline what's really tragic and horrible, and that's people. And anyway, things spin out of control. This was billed as the last Castle Rock story, the last novel, I should say, set in the Castle Rock setting, Castle Rock, Maine. The movie is fairly,
like it?
I like it too.
It was critically panned, but I
don't
thought
know
it was
why,
pretty-
honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good adaptation. It does skip some shit, and that's fine. Max von Sydow as Gaunt was awesome. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? But I like the movie, man. And there is a director's cut out there. I have not seen that. But anyway, your impressions overall?
Well, yeah, no, I love that book. Gaunt, I think, is one of Stephen King's best creations, alongside like Annie Wilkes or Pennywise or whatever. I mean, he's the devil, so it's Stephen King writing the devil, and he always gives his older wizened characters a really folksy way of talking with like ancient, like, just like colloquialisms and stuff like that, and they're really cool. They're really awesome. Like, what does he say? He says to the kid, like, if you can't tell a lie, be shut up or be still or something like that. It's beautiful. Like, I'm like, oh, I gotta remember that to say that to someone.
You didn't.
And to practice, yeah, and I didn't.
Run by this.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and I like the adaptation. I'm big on who writes these things because I love Stephen King so much. He's my favorite author. And the adaptation was written by the writer of Big Trouble in Little China and
What?
Buckaroo Banzai and stuff like that. He's a great screenwriter, honestly, and I thought it was
And Ed Harris is Alan Pangborn.
yeah,
It's pretty
yeah.
cool, man.
He brings it to every role.
Yes.
He just kicks ass and has a great slimy salesman played by J.T. Walsh, who's great.
Yeah.
A little late J.T. Walsh, he's wonderful.
And Goontick?
Big trouble.
Well, that says it.
China.
I don't remember it, honestly. I remember liking it. I saw all these when I was like a fetus.
Oh,
so
yeah. No,
Literally
well,
a
you're
fetus.
lucky you get to revisit
In
them now.
utero film watching is where it's at. Yeah, man. Okay. Oh, yeah. Next, we have The Golden Years, which was something he wrote directly for the screen. He wrote... yeah. It was an early CBS miniseries, and he wrote it directly for the screen. I saw it on DVD, and I vaguely remember it. I remember thinking it was pretty hokey, and that mostly had to do with the technical aspects and the acting, and glaringly so the effects, which were not good considering what they were trying to communicate. Somebody becoming younger. It looked, it didn't look good. It was supposed to spin off into a series, but it, of course, was not picked up. Stephen King begged CBS to let them at least let him finish off the story, and they didn't let him, so we'll never see the end to that.
Oh, shit.
So that's unfortunate. Whatever. Next, Gerald's Game. I have not read this, man, and I know you've told me on several occasions that I should. It's more of a psychological horror in the respects of its themes. Tell us a little bit something about Gerald's Game.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's it's going to be made into a movie, and it's an interesting thing to attempt because, like, they say it's unfilmable, and you would think so because it's like a game, a sadomasochistic cat and mouse game. It starts off that way anyway, and then it becomes like a survival tale, sort of 127 hours meets, like, I don't know, Misery, I guess, or whatever. It's really sexual, really violent and disturbing. I remember it came out. I went to go check it out at the library, and the librarian, who would let me check out anything we were friendly with, I'm sure you were all friendly with growing up, they would not check it out to me, and I was so pissed.
Oh, really?
I was so mad. And I was too young to read it, clearly, but that was the first time I'd ever encountered that kind of oppression from the library, and it pissed me off. So it became a holy grail to try and read.
Now you had to read it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, and as you said, it's being adapted into a movie that's going to be released on Netflix, as I understand.
It is. It's from the director of Hush, which is really good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's done. Stephen King has watched it, and he says he loves it. With the girl
could be good or bad.
The girl is Carla Gugino.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
At least it'll be pretty to look at.
Instant, I will watch.
I'm spying on you.
Yeah, I almost was gonna say that, but I knew you'd fill it in for me.
So when it comes to boners, we got it.
With that, we should sign off by saying I'm spying on you.
And
no one will get that reference.
And we'll come and polish off the rest of the Stephen King's career in the next installment. Stay tuned.